Welcome back in a real way. I've noticed a upswing in people using the terms alpha male, beta male, and the whole concept or the traits of the both. And what I've learned was something interesting because up until this point where with feminism being such a giant thing, it makes sense that um, males have to assert themselves, and their roles have to be reasserted and fortified. Masculinity itself has to be brought back to a forefront for those men who are losing themselves in whatever, I guess, simping or whatever else is going on. So one of the things I noticed was in a lot of the shows that I watch on the YouTube or whatever, just those terms, alpha male and beta male, they kept coming up. And they kept coming up in the vein of like, as if they were some kind of like opposing forces to each other. So, for those who don't know, I'm going to define each and then show you what I learned about both. Because I was trying to find myself in them somehow. And it led me to something that I want to share. So, you first have the term alpha, which is like a male animal having like the highest rank in a dominance hierarchy. So keep that in mind. They have a high rank in the dominance hierarchy. So that already suggests that it's a societal construct. The alpha traits are being self confident, outgoing, enterprising, that kind of stuff. And then you have beta males, and beta males are said to kind of seek their validation um, in the realm of others. They don't really have a self reliance or strong sense of personal identity. Um, their traits are kind of relationship focused. They seek playing like more supportive roles. Um, they tend to be insecure and more nervous minded than alphas or whatever. So by looking at that, what I realized is alphas and betas are mutual symbiosis, and what I mean by that is they need each other, like a pastor needs his flock, like shepherd needs a sheep. Like they are defined by each other. So alpha is not an alpha unless somebody's following him. If you peep it, like there has to be a social hierarchy. There has to be other people involved. So the same way that a beta validates himself with others, alpha validates himself by others as well. Um, like I said, like in order to be in the front, somebody has to be behind you. Um, so I was trying to find out, between both of those, like where would I land? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I see a lot of the alpha features in me, but there's certain shit that don't really click on my side. And then when I go to the beta thing, none of that is really, it doesn't click either. So what I found out was there's also a thing called sigma. You know, and a sigma is basically an alpha male that doesn't submit to dominance hierarchies. He's not validated by how other people sees him. He doesn't need to have anybody behind him or even with him. You know, the traits are they do their own thing. They can control the room. They're charismatic. They don't really need anything from anyone. They're independent, and they may be off the grid or hard to reach in some instances. And when I thought about that, I'm like, damn, that's us, and not just us, like me. I mean, well, not just me in general, but like when I look at most of the men in my particular circle, that's kind of how they all are. Like they're all generals in their own right, and at the same time, like we can play the position of, you know, letting the next man shine. It doesn't infract upon or infringe upon our own self image. You know what I'm saying? Because like an alpha can't release. You know, they can't risk those type of concessions because that is immediately a sign of weakness, and that means their role can be questioned now. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, you know, the men in my circle, they all have great gifts in specific areas. So we can all learn from each other and we correct each other. So like if somebody is moving a particular way and another one of us has a different angle that may not have been viewed, they can present it and we have the confidence and wherewithal to stop and say, you know what, I didn't think about that. I'll factor that in, moving forward and how to be objective. Like it doesn't encroach upon our ego. It doesn't make us feel any less, or it doesn't if anything it adds on to our value as men. So yeah, it was just dope, man, because I was looking at all the ones in my immediate circle. You know what I mean? Even to my sons. You know what I mean? They move on their own accord. They aren't really they can't really be swayed by whatever the crowd is doing. You know, at the same time, when they enter the room, they got that magnetic. They're the piece of steel with the magnetic. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's dope to know like there is a place for those people who don't fit into the general positions of this society. You know what I mean? Of just follower and leader. You know what I'm saying? We are leaders in our own right. You know what I mean? And we can play whatever role we need to play, and we can be in whatever position we need to be in, and we can provide whatever a situation calls for, and rise to that occasion and be the cream. And I just think that's dope. You know, something that I learned, and I wanted to share it with y'all. Because what you got to realize is you're talking about a nature of a person. You know what I'm saying? You have some people who are alpha by nature. You know what I mean? They want to be that guy when they step in the room. They want to be, and then you have some other people who come in and they don't really want to be noticed. They don't want to be shrunk, or a person might ask them a question and they immediately look to the left to see what the next man is going to say. You know what I mean? Wow, my man, like, we have our own views, and if you ask them a question, you're going to get an answer. And if somebody has a contrasting answer, then here comes, we'll debate it out. And if you can help me see your point of view, that might be, something fruitful. And if you don't, that's fine too, because I'm not telling you what I'm telling you to convince you. I'm telling you what I'm telling you because that's how I see it, you know, and that's how me and my squad move. And we can we have the ability to master any cipher, and I think that's the uh, gift of our nature, and I believe that's what draws us to each other as well. You know, um, yeah, that the whole alpha thing, like an alpha, as funny as it sounds, you know, people wanna they beat their chest on that, but you're validated by the pack. You know what I'm saying? Whether you know it or not, you're validated by the pack. You're only in front because somebody's behind you. And the alpha by himself is food. You know what I'm saying? But a sigma can come and be the alpha of anything. You know what I'm saying? Of any pack. And they can live on their own. You know what I'm saying? They just built that way. So that was just something I wanted to share with y'all, man. Hopefully, um, you can get some valuable out of it. If not, you know, chew it up, spit out the bones, or see you on the next one. Whatever. Like y'all. One.